everyone. Welcome back to the Global Retail Conference 2025 presented by WeSave, a transformative platform shaping the future of global retail and e-commerce. As one of the largest and most influential initiatives in industry, global retail brings together visionary leaders to address the forces transforming retail, technological innovations, sustainability, and evolving customer expectations. As we've been exploring all week, we will continue to look at groundbreaking ideas, actionable strategies, and leadership insights that redefine commerce. This is more than just a conference. It's a call to action to lead with purpose, collaborate effectively, drive meaningful impact, and build community. So welcome to the Global Retail Conference. And it's always exciting when the conference, which is one of our major contributors and the force behind it, we're joined by someone from that company. So we have RJ Stewart from WeSave. He is the co-founder and COO of WeSave, our conference sponsor, and he's going to introduce and talk about WeSave and how it's redefining commerce for the retail platform. RJ, and he's joining us today from California. So good morning. Thank you very much. Keeping everybody in Southern California there in our prayers, and hope for the best there as everybody recovers. So welcome and good morning.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it. Pleasure to be part of this. I'm super excited. Love the speakers prior, and have been really excited and engaged in this event. Having a blast. How about yourself, Glenn? How are you doing?
We've met some amazing people. We've had some great conversations, and I learn all the time. And I'm looking forward to you reintroducing us here to WeSave.
Thanks, man. Thanks. It's been amazing. I'm super excited about the retail conference and its future, and then, of course, we're very excited about the opportunity to share about WeSave. WeSave has been a great partner with One Business World, and we're excited about everything that we're doing together in collaboration. So let me play a little intro about WeSave, and kind of give a kind of a basic introduction about what's going on here, and then I'd like to get into the details of it, if possible. So give me 2 seconds here.
WeSave is a groundbreaking opportunity to own and be a part of the next level of the e-commerce industry. WeSave is revolutionizing commerce for the people by creating a partnership-based ecosystem where customers, merchants, and investors all share in the success of our online platform. Shoppers earn real equity with every purchase. Local businesses get an affordable e-commerce solution to help them thrive. And every sale supports charitable causes. This is a win-win-win opportunity. Merchants expand their exposure and grow their business. Consumers build wealth when they shop through equity rewards and dividends. And investors share in the platform's growth, profits, and long-term success. WeSave is more than a platform. It's a financial empowerment movement transforming shopping into a wealth-building system for millions. Invest in WeSave today and be part of the future partnership-based economy where everybody wins.
So imagine that what we're trying to do is a coalition marketing solution. By itself, e-commerce is amazing. I've been listening to the technology partners that were presenting here in the conference, and they talk about the phases and the evolution of the internet. And so today, as technology really expands and the opportunities grow, there's a small segment of commerce that's been left out, and a lot of the small businesses have been underserved. As a matter of fact, if you think about it and you really do studies relative to the solutions that are out there, some of the bigs have an 80% disappointment factor for the merchants because the solutions aren't really helping that mass market that's there. So today in the technology, if you look at Google cares about platforms. If you're building your first little online store and you're pointing your domain to it, you're in a very tough environment to take and get found. A lot of times you basically do a partnership of a software technology, you license, you pay the SaaS fees, you join that platform, and you really just created a loyalty program with that particular software solution because now they're forevermore going to sell you marketing and SEO. And so there's it's an unfair structure and unfair for the small businesses that are trying to take and get noticed and trying to play in this e-commerce space. Even though a lot of big technologies have have succeeded, those small businesses are in a tough situation. So what is Google and what is Google relevance, right? Google relevance says that the motions and the actions that are occurring on the internet is what they want to rank, and they want to basically then celebrate that site and push that site's relevance to the top of the Google pages. And the overall Google search solution celebrates platforms. And so therefore platforms have been the winning environment on that. Some of us are pretty familiar with the Yelp model, and even Yelp has been so successful that they deliver pictures and photos to Google for Google's merchant pages and Google searches on the local merchant environment. But that team effort, the sheer idea that 92 million people a day are logging in and basically posting images, taking in, doing reviews, etc., is part of that structure that makes something super relevant, right? And so if we continue to look at the idea of rewarding platforms, right, then you can see that next platform that has a partnership with Google, and that's YouTube, right, where they have billions of hours of content being uploaded today, and they have an army of people who are producing and partnering with YouTube in that. So our model, our business model, most resembles what Airbnb did. And a lot of people looked at Airbnb and said, you can't compete against the Amazons. I'm sorry, not the Amazons, against the little Freudian slip there. You can't compete against the Marriotts and the Hiltons because of their sheer marketing budget and their strength. You're never going to be able to take and do bookings at those levels. And what they were doing is serving the masses. They were serving the masses, and they were repeating a technology and becoming an expert at that singular technology again and again. And then a similar business model came out where they were doing it, where they took a little business, a car owner, and they did that repeat software. And together they were able to drive traffic and then have the same mutual service. WeSave is that for small business and commerce. So, but our vision isn't to take and say, we're going to do an Airbnb business model and succeed by ourselves as the founders, as the investors of that. We want a partnership economy. We want a relationship with our businesses. So you've heard, of course, of employee-owned businesses. In this case, we're doing member-owned and we're doing merchant-owned as a business model. So as that natural success of this, platform solution and the winning model relative to Google happens for us all, we want to reward everybody that's part of that team and that solution. So together, we've had those opportunities to take and have the large investors in there, and we do have, the big businesses that have come and partnered with us, including banks and processors, etc., because of the opportunity that they see inside of the revenue models that are possible there. But we also have a mission to take and protect, the team and the evolution of everybody that's coming up with us on that. So that most important relationship is that merchant, the small mom and pop merchant, that underserved, client that's there. And we think that we've come up with a solution to deliver that. Now, we're currently at an early stage in relative to our capitalization and have SEC approvals as we saw above in our website. And by the way, this is the WeSaveInc.com website, which is everything that I'm presenting here. And it kind of gives a very easy access to hearing and understanding the message again when I'm not there and available to share with everybody. But because of the fact that the merchant's been underserved, what we did is we said we can take and give them the entry standard, the expectations that the big nationals are spending $15 million, $40 million to build for their franchise businesses, that we would be the technology partner now for the small businesses and looking out for those solutions. But I don't look at it by itself as to, build the next evolution of tech. What we have to do is just deliver the best in, best in market, best in form solutions to them that are already proven successful models. Now, our background is in financial, in rewards and loyalty programs and driving repeat traffic. And so by taking in and applying those types of principles along with the core concepts of e-commerce, we're basically able to accomplish an expectation, a great solution for these small businesses, the masses of businesses there. So a lot of people don't realize that there's a giant amount of underserved business, and it seems like there's been everything is e-commerce. It seems like everything's e-commerce, but in '96, I had played in the financial industry, credit card processing, etc. And at that time, we evaluated how many merchants have credit cards and accepted credit cards. At that time, we all had the same opinion that everyone was served. But the true numbers was only 30% of business, of commerce, was doing credit card processing. Now that's evolved. Today, I think that number is roughly about 60%. And then, of course, that's a lot of time and a lot of opportunity that's there. Today, if you were to guess and to estimate what percentage of commerce is served by e-commerce, a lot of people think that number is 50%. A lot of people think that's higher, but that's actually not the case. COVID and the shutdowns gave a giant boost to e-commerce, bringing it up to roughly 15-16%. Okay, and then there's a growth factor that's happening today. So therefore, that leaves a giant percentage of businesses that are still not yet ready to adopt. And that for us is the opportunity and the growth, right? With that, we're also recognizing that the technology needs to take and modify itself. We don't look at this anymore as just e-commerce. We look at it as a concept called WeCommerce. And so the WeCommerce idea is to say that really each of these merchants have become a partner with us as the platform, and then also with all the other small businesses. They're a partner with all the other small businesses. And together, as they drive their traffic into our platform, they all benefit from that combined traffic. And then we have a financial structure inside of the processing fees, inside of the revenue models that reward those businesses for their traffic going and shopping with the other traffic. This is something we probably need to get into more detail, but it's something that's maybe the simple concept of that is that basically every merchant is paid for their customers driving to other businesses. So this has naturally evolved that we have influencers that are now partnering with us, social networks that are partnering with us, where they want to actually own their marketplace and have their influencers own a piece of their marketplace. So everybody becomes a partner in the vision and the growth that we're going in. So by taking and having this partnership, they've increased their exposure, they're owners in the business, they're basically getting revenue sharing. We help them with actually saving solutions relative to their shipping solutions, and taking and bringing down those costs, and then we also have an expedited method in which we bring revenues back to the merchant. If you knew the models that are out there that seem to be big companies and big solutions, and you kind of got to understand what that financial models are, you would actually be astounded or disappointed in the way that they're doing it. Most of these organizations are charging the merchant roughly 30% of the sale. And some of those go all the way to the point of 50% of the sale when they're managing the shipping solutions on that. And it's a giant hit for that business. And so our business model is a small referral fee of roughly 10% that's processed in the partnership. We call it the coalition processing fees. But then we also provide them a merchant account so that we expedite the funds and how they actually receive their funds. So where a lot of these companies, these marketplaces are holding the funds for 60 to 90 days, we're able to take and bring those funds to them roughly 72 hours after the product is delivered. So a lot of times that resembles a week's time depending on their shipping policies and procedures. So that's a giant variance between something that's paying you out 30 to 90 days from now, where instead we're trying to take and bring those revenues back to the merchant within a week or less, depending on their expedited solutions on shipping. So this is, a team. It's a team effort, an opportunity, and it's a giant effort. We like the idea of following business models that have succeeded. When you look at the Airbnb and Uber solutions that are out there, they've produced, a software solution multiple times and they've become experts at it. Today, both of those organizations have exceeded the prior companies that dominated that space, and we believe that that's a similar opportunity for WeSave. It's really serving the masses, and so ultimately, it's it's an exciting position. It's an exciting opportunity that we've kind of put together, and we have a lot of people that are getting involved. The structure of the platform itself, the technology that we've built, is kind of the 1.0, 2.0 of the software, and it resembles an e-commerce environment that a lot of people are familiar with, making it a kind of a simple experience for them. They can basically 80% of the e-commerce solutions have a similar look in the back offices and the admins. And so we've decided that we want to just make it be familiar and simple. These solutions are going to continue to evolve and get better as we go. So then, let's see. The business model, the team effort that's happening resembles the MasterCard Visa business model that exists in the past. And it's an exciting thing where each of the organizations that are partnering with us are actually part of what's called a merchant acquiring and a member acquiring solution. And so by taking and doing this model, you have the ability to grow faster, to have a larger network and a bigger solution of people implementing. So we currently have cities, we have states, we have actually regions and communities that are doing solution more like an economic stimulus model, helping the regions and helping the mom and pop merchants, even to the extent that we've extended this to farmers markets. So a single farmers market solution can take and now capture it, and then the software solutions resemble something you might see from a national franchise chain, where the person can take an order and then literally pick it up. So you might not have the time to go into the farmer's market. You would take and order that item, and they can bring it out to you in the front. We're all familiar with the parking space environment, curbside pickup, and we're doing for the merchants is we've invented drive-throughs for them. Even though it's not a high-speed fast food drive-through solution, just by having 2 parking spaces in front of their building has taken and opened a whole new revenue stream for those businesses. So, you can imagine that these influencers that have partnered with us, that are coming on board, they see it as an opportunity to bring in their customer base at roughly 100,000 to 1 million followers. Those members are able to join the program at an entry level, where it's a free membership. And then finally, we also have an entry level package for the merchants. On the other hand, if they want to hold off on spending their SaaS fees as a merchant, they're able to take instead and invest and purchase the crowdfund structure or the A+ structure, and be able to take and then be owners of the business instead of paying for their SaaS fees. So that's what gives them the opportunity. All of them become member network, member acquiring partners, and each of these organizations then drive the traffic, create the relationships, etc. Built into the revenues, built into the processing fees that we have, is a rewards program for the consumers. Built into the upgrades is a ownership program, what we call equity points for the members. So everybody is winning, together. And then we have, a lot of strategic alliance partners that are helping us inside of those launches. So as we hit certain regions and certain areas, some of our other financial partners are saying, okay, let's go. We see that city, we see that community. How do we drive together into those cities? You know, the traffic, the customers, and the relationships. So we have an amazing team that's been part of the launch. You know, Brad has come to us, you know, from the banking industry and the debit card space. We were all in the debit card space early on back in 1996. And then we all got into the reward space individually in our components. We had the opportunity to be the patent owners at the time for the rewards industry, and played a big factor in that space, and learned a lot. I believe in this concept that's a lot of times under shared, and that is a 30-60 rule. And inside of a rewards program, you basically have an increase of about 30% of a customer base, growth base, because of your customers hearing that there's a rewards program, and then there's a 60% natural growth on those pretty basic reward solutions that come in. And so as a result, we played in that space for roughly 20 years, and we've applied all the best principles of our past business experience into the WeSave business model here today. I believe you'll be able to everybody's going to have the opportunity to hear these guys talk at the retail conference. And of course, we think that there's going to be, you know, a great opportunity for us to take and grow the retail conference again and again. And so that, I think, is the summary. That's the story about WeSave. And so this, I was hoping to have it be an asset out there for people to be able to access and see the basic summary and overview of what we're doing here. And we want and invite the collaboration. We expect that there's going to be some great technology partners that are going to help us with growing this stuff and improving even our technology. We're currently in negotiations with about 5 AI companies, all of which will be integrated modules and enhancements of your shopping experience. You can expect to see AI bot equivalents that are going to be answering your questions relative to customer support. You're going to give personalities to our merchants, right? And so the merchants themselves will have personalities that are out there literally sharing the message about their stores on the social networks. And of course, with each business part of your team sharing their story to the internet will then drive their customers back into the network, etc. And then finally, customer service, or not customer service, but literally sales agent managers who are supporting and managing the communications as you are evaluating and researching some of the products in your store. Are just some of the fun solutions that we're currently integrating and/or negotiating to integration of. So yeah. So this is the WeSave model, and so maybe the word save is not about shopping discounts. I look at this as more of a farm to table type vision, where it's super important that we take and protect our small businesses and retail, because of the fact that they are so important in your communities. They literally do roughly 50% of the jobs in our cities and our communities. They're taking and hiring for those jobs. And I believe that they're roughly paying about 30% of the taxes in our communities. If we allow the business model of the drone delivering the product to our home as the only business model out there, I think we're going to lose the beauty of our cities and the beauty of our communities. So today, our mission is to save business and retail space. And it's a big one. It's a big challenge for us, a big opportunity for us all too. What do you think, Glenn?
Pretty exciting, pretty fascinating. I love the farm to table concept, because I was jotting down some notes, and when you mentioned farmers market, and you started putting in some of the groups that participate or benefit from this, whether it's colleges, teams, religious organizations. I remember growing up, and there was always, like, if I came out of the Catholic school system, so no matter, there might have been 70, 60 schools within the footprint on Long Island at the time, but I remember they always We use the centralized diocesan buying service, that kind of thing. But it was a marketplace. It was a place to go that would then kind of take away some of the noise, if you will, because of some of the structure that they had, much like what you have, having this platform as the infrastructure, and to be able to go and navigate it and then work together collaboratively is just fascinating. I love the whole partnership piece. I'm a big believer in small business. In fact, I'm talking on it tonight here at the college. That's our segment this week is small business. With your permission, I'm happy to mention WeSave to the class tonight. And talk a little.
We would love that.
Talk a little bit about how you're empowering those small businesses. But you get there with just the connectivity and nurturing these communities is so important, right? I mean, I know personally, just from a shopping experience, you go to a big store, and to be honest, I always kind of dread that because I feel I'm going to get swallowed up in the aisles and things, as opposed to going to a local place where perhaps you can get the same thing and just, I don't know, kind of know your way around, right? Oh, I'm familiar with the owner. I'm familiar with the way the store is laid out. They take good care of me. They know who I am, right? They say hello to me when I come in, and that's what it sounds like to me. I mean, you're building community. You're building ownership at all sorts of, all around the track here. Whether you're a merchant, whether you're a customer, everybody's kind of in it together.
Community is the key word. I mean, community is the key word. And again, the farm to table idea, I haven't found that perfect choice of words yet that we're going to do relative to small mom and pop business definition, but I think it'll come to us all. It's crazy how important that retail space is, the small retail. If you look at it, our business model is kind of started off of the Main Street environment, right? And the Main Street environment is our perfect customer base and our network. But it very quickly expands into the chambers of commerce and the merchant associations and the economic stimulus programs, and then even to the point of the blue zones, right, with health, because I think you're just creating you're sizing the value, you're featuring the value of that small business experience. It's interesting. The other day, my wife and I walked into the biggest plumbing supplier in town. And the biggest plumbing supplier in town did not have the parts that we needed. And then they referred us to an online solution, which benefited them none. But together, that online plumbing solution, adding 4 or 5 more of their partner or friend plumbers onto the space, would not only take and help the other businesses that they care about, but would also actually generate a revenue back to that plumbing wholesaler, because of the fact that they sent their customer over to a merchant that's participating inside of the WeSave network.
And the customer is going to remember the referral. The customer is going to be forever grateful to that initial person who said, you know what, I may not have it. The better alternative is down the street. Kind of like the old Miracle on 34th Street, right, with Macy's and Gimbel's. But
that's exactly right.
Think about, but even like with your name, WeSave, right? First 2 letters overlap. How about welcome to Main Street, right? You're kind of coming into that community, and it's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we, right? It's everybody, to quote Neil Diamond. If everybody's coming together, and it's that ecosystem, right? We always talk about relationships, and a series of good relationships become a network. But do you then get to that next level, that ecosystem, where it's that kind of, I used to, growing up, my family's from Greenpoint, Brooklyn. So back in the late 60s and early 70s, used to go down to the end of the block in Greenpoint. Today, of course, it's the set of the Boardwalk Empire and all this amazing new real estate. But in the old days, you would go down, right, and you would jump on the barge, right? You could actually back then climb down the barge, and we would skim rocks into the and that ripple effect, today, okay, maybe today you go to the beach and do it, but still, that ripple effect is kind of what you're talking about. It's that pushing out of the community. You mentioned patents. You have the patent from the original reward industry. That's your patent?
Yes, but that's past now. We
Okay.
were so
Well,
early.
time expires. Yeah, patents expire. Patents expire. Can't take away the know-how though, right? Or the
Yeah.
creation part of it for sure.
It was a great time. It was and we did make a mistake at that time. What happened was we had advisors who were saying, listen, we have these billion-dollar lawyers who are going to basically get you to do billion-dollar settlements. And really our true, it wasn't our true mission. Our mission was to bring people together. Our mission was to do the collaboration. And so there was an alternative business model that had been proposed back in that time, so roughly 2000, as we're sitting and in discussing that idea. And it was said, look, why don't we do conventions? Why don't we take and use the patents as a starting point, as an easy entry level, not as a negative, but instead, a beautiful coalition solution. And just do super easy entry level about your patent access and licensing. And there's some tough rules. You have to really get into that the systems there, and how well, I won't get into the details of how the legal works. You can accidentally open yourself for counter lawsuits by saying the wrong thing as it relates to that. It has to be a true infringement as you manage it. And so by going in and allowing the enforcement of the patents, it didn't achieve our mission. And our mission was the coalitions and the relationships. We were also trying to hold the big companies to a charitable model. We wanted a percentage of that new revenues that we had found for every business that implemented a rewards program to take and help charities. And so inside of our business model and inside our patent licensing, we had asked for everybody to take and do a little chip into charity. And some of the bigs fought back on that. They were like, listen, we love all these new profits, but no, we don't. What's this charity thing? So instead, the opportunity with the Global Retail Conference, right? So here we are coming back, to the opportunity. I've been brought on from, with WeSave because of my knowledge with regards to rewards and merchant acquiring. We believe that we'll have about 100,000 merchants in roughly 2 years from this starting date of 2025, and and in that the actual conferences and the conventions are going to be a real exciting part of that. And so, global retail, here we come. It's really a great stage and a great opportunity.
Well, you mentioned again on the charity part, it's almost, and it kind of underscores what you're all about. In a way, it's kind of like the Community Reinvestment Act, right? You're taking that little piece, and here's an entity, in most likely in your own town that does some public good. Here's a way of making that reinvestment in the community and those that service it. And let's face it, right? Merchants are part of that community. I mean, I live in a town in Long Island that is lucky enough to have a main street. And I live a couple blocks from town, so I don't take the car in. I just walk into town, and let's see what I discover. And there's some amazing merchants out there that you wouldn't necessarily think of unless you actually took the town by foot, right? You're driving through it, right? Oh, I'm going to go to the mall and see what's there. But here's some rather unique entrepreneurs, small businesses that are just doing some wonderful work in the community, and using a platform like WeSave. It's a way of using the power of that community as everyone helps each other, right? Whether it's somebody saying, well, I just saw my friend, two blocks down. They've got a little bit better match of what you're looking for. Go see them, and then through your system, the fact that then everybody wins, right?
Yeah, the miracle on 34th Street mentioned that I want to emphasize, Glenn, you hit it spot on with the Santa for Miracle on 34th Street. What we want is every merchant to be a Santa. Every merchant.
God bless Edward Gwynn, right?
And benefit from it, because they generate that referral revenues. that they did, because it's not giant revenues, but it's enough to give that merchant the recognition, and it's enough to generate that extra customer loyalty. Can you imagine, as we initially introduced rewards back through 96 to 2000, the average conversation that we had with the mom and pop merchant and or any of the businesses, even the national brands, was we don't have the margin to facilitate a reward to our existing customer. That would hurt our bottom line. It would mess up our profit models. And we had to fight through that conversation in a way saying, you're paying a giant discount to a stranger, but you don't do anything for your existing customer. So the first concept was rewards, and later everyone figured it out that it was loyalty. By taking it and creating an existing customer coming back to you 1, 2, 3, 5 times, the profit, went through the roof, and it was really the best business model. And then finally, everyone discovered it. It took a while to take and fight through that explanation and that understanding. And I think a funny thing, Glenn, what happened, and it was in my youth. My father's Italian, and 100% Italian, and from Rome, New York, from upstate New York.
Okay.
And
into Rome, New York, yeah, on the train, no less.
Oh wow! And so hopefully not through the snow, but we were in an Italian home, in just a little restaurant, just a little micro restaurant in that place. I had to be 10, maybe, 12 years old. I don't know, somewhere in that range. And the memory of the owner coming out and saying, wait, I'm going to bring you guys my grandmother's meatballs. Right. And it was like, what? Okay, you have to try my this has been in our family for 5 generations. You're gonna try this meatball. And you're like, okay, great. And then out comes the meatballs, 3 meatballs on the table for all of us to take a little piece. And of course it was 100% free. Why would he do that? Let me tell you, you'll come back again if you bring the next time you're bringing your business clients with you, because that every time you go to that store, they're going to treat you like a king. And that's the relationship and the loyalty that we want to do here for all the merchants and all the small businesses.
It's kind of like compound interest, right? I mean, it's exponential in a way, right? It keeps building. All right, I'll give you another classic film clip, right? That comes to mind. Think of It's a Wonderful Life. When the bank run happens and Jimmy Stewart is then explaining to everybody, it's like, well, your money's in Fred's house and Susan's house, and it's not in my safe. It's in everybody's house. It's been reinvested. We're all together. And that strikes me as the power of what you have, because that's, people remember that. Like I remember I was talking to my uncle's 90 years old now, and we had growing up, he used to have the hockey tickets, so we would go to the Islander games, but he would always come out early, and there was this little 6-table Italian place, Iannoni's was what it was called, in town, and that was our stop. And they got to know you, right? When you walked in, they got to know you. I remember even growing up going to like the local bagel shop after my paper out, and I always ordered the same thing. So one day I came in and I said, can I get a poppy bagel? He always did like a salt bagel, right? I said, can I get a poppy bagel? What's the matter? The salt bagels aren't hot enough. I was like, I'm just trying to change. But they knew you, they valued you. And you're right. The grandma meatball piece, it's I want to share some of our family legacy with you, and you're gonna like it, and it's gonna be terrific, and then you're gonna tell your friends, and I'm gonna get paid back, not 7 times like they say in the Bible, but 70 times 7, right? And it's gonna kind of go out like that. It's really powerful what you're doing. It's enabling. It's taking retail to the next. It's almost bringing it back to grassroots, but then kind of like Back to the Future. It's like you're back to 55, and now you're back in 85, and then you keep going. you just keep, you know, you like, well, like what Christopher Lloyd used to say, we don't need any roads. We're not going to, right. And
No,
it's
Glenn,
the same
you
type of
got it.
fellow.
You got it 100%, Glenn. I mean, I really hope that you can help share this message with us because you really got it. You know, so many things. It is bringing it backwards to the older traditions. It is taking those core concepts that were those roots of a relationship. You know, actually, some of the people that were delivering some AI, you know, I always look at it as the gray hair, the wisdom. We went through a generation or a couple generations that lost the respect of our elders, you know, and the wisdom that they've lived and learned. And I think that, you know, I do think AI and, you know, the capture of these messages, and at least if we celebrate where the information is coming from, I think it's going to, you know, be a resurgence of that wisdom. And so, you know, I've had the opportunity to have some great mentors surrounding me. One of my best mentors in my life has been my father, you know, and early on, as a result of that, I looked at, you know, the people around me and the ones that had the most integrity, and I said, man, you know, my father really stands out for that. And so that's been a blessing in my life. And so I think that gave me the opportunity to look towards the value of those wisdoms. And again, you know, I think miracle on, on 34. And those things that you're saying, Glenn, are exactly. Now, one thing, our software is perfect right this date for the Main Street solution. There is a dire need for us to help malls, right? If we look
There's
at the
no shortage
problem,
of stories out there on the even on Long Island. Some of the, you know, the anchor store's not there anymore, right? And it's like, what happens?
and I can't say that our solutions today actually solve the mall need, right? But part of the power of what we're building here is a technology that will evolve, right? That every little merchant at their micro investment, when they own and when they pay for their SaaS, but instead are buying stock, right, is a reinvestment into the improvement of the tech. And so as we improve that tech, we think that there's going to be you know, just a slight modification that we need to do to take and then serve the malls, you know. But you know, the Main Street is our main mission right now, the economic stimulus into your communities. And because I'm a tech architect, my background as the COO is a tech architecture, you know, I'm able to kind of predict patterns. And I think the current path that we're on relative to the technology solutions, where you have big warehouse and drone deliveries, you know, you're not really, you know, big picture of how that affects us all. I say a silly story that talks about that my kids, although my kids are now in their 20s, but you know, future generations knocking on the door for their first job in an elephant door warehouse and asking for their first job opportunity, and the big warehouse saying, absolutely, come on in, let's do this, but your performance expectations is to match that robot over there, you know. So, you know, hopefully here at minimum wage you can perform at a nice, you know, pace, you know, competing with that robot. And I don't think that's the model we all, you know, want to take and embrace. I think the model we care about is saving the bookstore.
Yeah.
Although those have gone, now we have an opportunity to save the toy stores. Oh, wait, those are gone too. You know, so it's time. It's time. And I think what's happening in the world and what's happening here in the United States is the perfect time for us to get that done. And the software is possible to really help us all make a difference on that. You know, so today let's save. We can save, you know,
Yeah.
and we can, you know, really, you know, make a difference here. But no, Glenn, I'm really excited that you see and really you understand 100%.
But you know, that's it's all about making a difference. And I'm a big believer in, you got to know where you come from to know where you're going. Uh, and we're treasuring those memories, right? You know, sometimes the local newspapers run, let's run the classic edition from 1962. And it's always amazing because you see all the store ads and what goes on over time, and you come back and say, wow, that coat cost $7.99 back then. Now it's, you know, but it's celebrating that that legacy, that history, and then bringing it forward, right? Paying it forward, just like you do with community service. So I'm very impressed by everything WeSave's doing. You guys are doing. You're knocking it out of the park. You're reinvesting in communities, downtowns, neighborhoods, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and even the side hustle. This generation, it's small business. You can be literally starting out of your house, out of your garage.
Yep.
And the software here is basically giving you those solutions: inventory management, fulfillment solutions, wholesale and savings on those tax, reporting and management. So, it's entry level. Everybody can play on this stuff. The only one that isn't invited is the bigs that are delivering from China.
Okay. Well, I got a slide tonight for my class in home entrepreneurship. Maybe I should beam you in, and you could be the guest lecturer, because
I'm available.
You're covered all my material. You're covered all my material.
Well, I'd love the opportunity, bud.
All right, RJ. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for, obviously it's the WeSave Global Retail Conference. You guys have done some remarkable work here. We love partnering with you. We've had some great talks throughout the week. It's great that here we are on well, depending on when you watch it, right? Wednesday, here we are on the pivot, and you guys are here helping launch us into the rest of the week. So thank you for that. Thanks for all your leadership. Outstanding work, and we look forward to continuing to work through the conference this week and continuing to make a difference.
Pleasure, Glenn. Pleasure. Hope to see you on Friday.
All right. See you at the end of the week.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Take care. Bye-bye.